We can push through so many things physically. It's the mind that gives up before the physical gives up.
Welcome to the Project My Life podcast from Monetti Productions.
What's up, guys? Anthony Monetti here, and I'm back with my beautiful co-host,
Karen Monetti.
And it's a new season of Project My Life, and we're going to do some deep diving into transformation for the first couple episodes. Physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual transformation. What does it look like? And we're going to call this series the Finish What You Started series, because it's been since 2015 I had this podcast. I started it. I was very, very motivated, and I did a couple episodes, and I had some really cool guests on, and I was really into it, and then I stopped, and a little bit here and there. Karen tried to pick up the podcast game earlier in this year. It's 2022. It's November now, but we started it in January. We're doing it every day live for a while.
Every day.
But then we just fell off. Life got in the way. We had some personal stuff go on, which we can talk about briefly, maybe, if Karen's...
Nope. Move on.
Keep it rolling.
It's not what this is about.
No, not right now. I'm just giving the intro. This is still the intro, Karen. This is still the intro.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway,
People are gonna fall asleep.
Finish what you started. We're going to talk about some transformation. And first off, physical transformation is something we want to talk about first. So I'm going to shift it to you, Karen, so I'll shut up for a minute. Talk to me about transformation. What does it look like? Physical transformation.
Well, physical transformation to me just means changing the look of yourself, right? So maybe losing some fat, maybe building muscle, changing your hair color could be a physical transformation. Hopefully not through surgical procedures, but that's a transformation too. But transformation on the physical side is literally just looking like A and then looking like B afterwards. And there's a lot of in between. So maybe looking like A and looking like Z, because there's an B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all in between until you get to Z.
So let's get some details. Lower body fat percentage maybe would change your physique.
Sure.
Change how you look. Clothes fitting better.
Yes.
Physical standpoint, right? What else would you describe as a physical transformation? Those are all very surface things. Is there anything else that you would look at? I mean, most people that come to our studio are looking for some kind of transformation. What they realize quickly is that it's more about their inside than it is about their outside. So
Sure.
BODY, body transformation, we coined that term early. That wasn't me tapping, guys. That was something that fell out of my pocket. All right, so I don't owe anybody money yet. I'm not tapping. I'm gently placing them down. So people come here. We've coined the term body transformation specialist, right? So that's because we have more of a physical kind of background as far as our history with sports, right? For me personally, it's been bodybuilding, so physical transformation. But we use the word BODHI in our branding and also in our business, because it means more about the process of becoming. So it's more about the stuff that you're going through inside, and we can talk about that in a different
That's
episode.
more
Or maybe
mental,
it's
I
tied
think,
into here.
right?
Yeah, mental, emotional. You can tie all of them into there, spiritual as well. So I feel like the BODHI is more about where I find more fulfillment in helping people kind of uncover what's really holding them back from their perfect self, their perfect body and their perfect life. So anything you want to touch upon that?
Yeah, I just had a thought too, because physical transformation can also be blood work or health concerns
Absolutely.
too. That is a physical. So if you have high cholesterol and you start transforming your outer body, the inner body, your cholesterol could get better, your blood pressure could get better, your diabetes could reverse, or if you're pre-diabetic, you can get non-pre-diabetic at the time and have stable blood sugar. So that can also be physical too. We don't see those things, right? Like you don't see your high cholesterol or see the high blood pressure, but that is a physical transformation also.
They're all woven together, right? Because
Sure.
once you start seeing those signs, all of a sudden now you're changing how you feel emotionally about your physical self, right? So they kind of like go together.
It's like an onion. There's many layers that you have to peel back in an onion, right? So it's like that with a transformation. We all start with not we, I can't generalize. So most people start, which what I see in coaching them is they start with, I want to look a certain way. I want to lose weight. I want to be this size. So that's like the first layer that we peel. But then as they start to actually make the changes, that's when we go really deep into emotional, mental, habitual, spiritual, all of it.
It's weird because what's driving that person, whoever, to want to change their physical self?
Could be many things.
Could be many things, right? Of course, but
Many things.
But they sum it up with how they look to others, really, right?
Well, yeah, that, and also, so I do a lot of the intakes here of people like inquiring about our coaching services, and most people say, I saw a picture of myself, and I was like, that is not me. Or a lot of women, more so, that I have the conversations with, they'll be like, I can't fit into my wardrobe anymore. So those are two of like the biggest things I see that gives them a, whoa, I need to make a physical change. And again, they just feel terrible a lot of times, like no energy. They don't want to get dressed up nice to go out on a date. Like there's a lot that goes into it, but it's more times than not, I hear, I really saw myself in the camera. I'm not happy.
You know what makes me sad at times, or I don't know, a little, not disturbed, but I'll ask people, like, when's the last time you looked and felt your best? And sometimes their answer is never.
I know. That's heartbreaking.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I go through stages where I'm more confident than others and I'm working on stuff. But for somebody to never feel like they've looked good or felt good about who they were, I don't know. I feel like life is too short. You should be. And I'm not talking about like body positivity where you should just, let yourself go, and the whole concept around healthy at any weight. I disagree with that. But I agree with loving yourself while you're working on your best self. So you can still improve, and you can look at yourself and not be
so judgmental.
So yeah, right. That's a good, and not judgmental, but also not be, surrendering to the fact that, you don't like how you look and feel, and not just to kind of be like, oh, no, I'm good. I'm great. I'm perfect the way I am. You're not really. I mean, there's got to be, I don't know. I shouldn't say there's
like
got to
that.
be.
I think it's like, okay, you're not perfect.
Don't say it like
Don't
what?
use that. Don't use
Me?
you're not perfect. Yeah, at any size. It's more of like, what does your internal self look like from a health standpoint?
But there's some doctors who will say that there's health at any
yeah,
weight.
well, eventually that's going to catch up to you, whether it's in lack of bone density, whether that's in blood sugar, whether that's in fatty liver, which we're seeing at an amount that has never been seen before in people who don't even drink, whether it's fat pads on your heart. Like eventually obesity will catch up to you. So, but don't use the word perfect.
Well, what did I say?
I don't know. You said the word perfect, like a perfect something, but there's no such thing.
No, because
so.
there's like, I've seen Instagram and TikTok where I'm perfect the way I am. You're perfect the way you are.
Yeah,
And
well,
we're perfectly made, right?
Yes.
But doesn't mean we're perfect.
Yes.
So I feel like there's stuff that we could always work on. I say
Sure.
we, sorry to generalize, but I know there's stuff that I can always work on.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think that when people are honest with themselves, they will find things that they can work on as well.
Sure.
But that's where it becomes, difficult because you have to dig deep. Karen, what are some barriers that people overcome, or people have to overcome if they're looking for a physical transformation?
Well, barriers go to the emotional side.
Or
of
barriers that cause their physical lack of transformation, or what are some obstacles that are involved?
Can I have a lifeline? Am I allowed to phone a friend?
You
to
are
understand
not
what
allowed to phone
you
a
are
friend.
saying?
You're stuck in this room until you answer the dang question, Karen.
What was the question? I don't understand.
What are some obstacles that people face that you've seen while going through their physical transformation?
Gotcha.
Maybe
Well,
that's a better way.
Most of it is emotional, to be honest with
Ah.
you. But as far as the physical goes, soreness, not understanding correct movement, right? Scheduling conflicts could be physical too. It's hard to just say physical barriers with that. I think it's more of like understanding your body movement and how to move correctly and efficiently and not work out 7 days a week, 4 hours a day without having recovery and sleep and, all that. Also eating, There's physical in eating. So that's a big barrier that I see most times is people don't mind moving. They mind the dieting part of it.
Right.
But really the barrier that it comes down to for me and for all the people I've ever worked with over the past, 15 years has been emotional and mental blocks more than physical blocks. Because we can push through so many things physically. It's the mind that gives up before the physical gives up.
Great question or great answer.
Thanks.
Well, a great question first.
Did I even answer the right question?
You had to be set up with a great question first in order to answer the great answer.
That's right.
Sorry, I'm being silly right now. But all right, so the bottom line is that there's some emotional stuff that's attached to the physical. Just like I said earlier, they're all kind of like interwoven together.
We can't do one without the other.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you could for a very short period of time because we've seen it over and over, and that's why people come to us is because they've done the super ridiculously restrictive diet and work out like maniacs, but they don't change their mind and they don't change their their long-term habits or how they view things, but they change the physical right away. But it lasts like maybe 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 months, and then goes downhill. You see that classically too, like with people that get bypass surgery or any kind of like bariatric surgery, they're physically changing their self. Like they're getting cut open, they're getting their stomach shortened or a sleeve put on or part of their, stomach removed, like whatever it is. That's a physical change. But nobody works up here. I can't say nobody. Most times that's the physical. They're like, oh, well, I just can't eat as much. But if you don't change your emotional side and your habits and how you view things, your habits will slide back to where they were. And you're not going to change the type of food you're eating. You're not going to change the movement that you've had. And that doesn't mean you're going to lose weight, any more weight than you could, or get any healthier than you can. I've seen that a lot where people get like surgeries and they're like, well, I'm still eating the chicken fingers. I just don't eat 5. I can only eat 2. I'm like, what about healthy foods though? They don't change that. They just say, well, I can't eat as much. And yes, you will lose weight in the process. Doesn't mean you're healthy.
It's awesome. This is not medical advice. This
not
is
at
just
all.
literally
Opinions.
Opinions based upon 20 plus years together. We've been doing it here for 15 years, but I've been doing it like since I was 19 years old as far as coaching people and learning personalities and habits around people trying to transform their body physically more so. And really when it comes down to it, it's more about the other things that make the physical happen. What you see on the outside is only a matter of what's going on the inside. So that being said, but I agree with you 100%. And these are all based upon our experiences working with people who have gone through the surgery. We're not generalizing to everybody. There's people out there who've had major success with these surgeries, but we like to help people get there before they have to go for that surgery, because it's not going to be sustainable. Even people who have gotten surgery, we've seen them here, who have lost a lot of weight, have gained the weight back, and just been miserable because they're cutting themselves open, like you said. They're going in for surgery, and they're not fixing the problem. They're just kind of like putting a piece of duct tape over the issue and not really addressing it. That it's probably emotional eating. It's probably some, as crazy as it may sound, but some kind of trauma that's affected that person who that pushes that person to go for food, or some kind of bad habits that they're trying to get around. So great talk there, Karen.
Well, thank you.
Good stuff, guys. We're going to be doing this every week, so please join us. I don't say please. You don't have to. Don't. I don't want to say please. If you'd like to learn more about what we have to say about these topics, it would be a pleasure for you to join us with some raw, honest, in-depth talk about stuff that we have going on here, and maybe you can share it or like it or do what you want.
Or if you're just bored and want to hear Monetti rant.
Whoa!
And get a good laugh. Come join us.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. For more information, visit our website at thisisbody.com. That's thisisbodhi.com.